Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining us today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will be reviewing Jasmina and Michael in Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 15. So let's get right into it.
Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by Bynum's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video.
Let's discuss Jasmina and Michael. We finally saw Jasmina open up when she took Michael back to her old neighborhood. We learned so much about her this time. We learned that she worked in an old folks home, so that was really good to see her community service efforts. We learned a little bit about her childhood and where she grew up. I think she has alluded before that her mom and her dad, I know her mom had left her, but that her dad moved away. And it was really interesting in this episode to hear her say that they both left her, that she felt more of an abandonment from both of them. And that her first stepmom didn't hug her or love her and didn't care for her. That was so powerful. I'm wondering what that stepmom will think if she ever sees this episode. But then understanding how she thought school was a safe place and how Miss Patasky really did pour into her lives. And we never know, whether we a teacher or not, how much we are impacting the lives of others just by showing a little love, care, and compassion and kindness. Because I'm sure Miss Patasky was just being herself and doing her job. And the fact that Jasmina felt that she was loved and cared for and that school should be a safe place. So I really did enjoy hearing her story this week. And I believe this was the first time that she really was vulnerable, in which she's asking Michael to do. It was nice to see her be vulnerable. It was so funny when she said that her father would pick her up in the big truck and she would be so embarrassed.
Yes.
My stepfather, he drove a taxi and he would pick me up from school. I wasn't embarrassed though. I was like, hey, I got me a chauffeur. I don't have to walk today. So I definitely could relate to that. It was really nice. What did you think about that?
Well, we know that Jasmina was a pretty good student, because I think Mrs. Patasky, which was her teacher, saw her potential and basically showed her love, because she felt that Jasmina was a good student and had a good future. And I think that that's true for any good educator. When they see that you have a lot of potential and that they see that you're willing to learn, they pour themselves into you. And I think that's what Miss Patasky did. And it reflected, because it impacted Jasmina's life. In fact, she found that school to be her safe space, and she felt the love of Mrs. Patasky. So I think that as was indicated, Michael, when they had the visit, when they talked about it among each other, that he asked her about the teacher, and she told him about the impact that Mrs. Patasky had on him. And he asked Jasmina, is that the reason why you became a teacher? And Jasmina said, wow, I didn't think about that before, but yes, it is. And she said that I wanted to make it a safe space for children. And he said, wow, does Mrs. Patasky know that the impact that she has had on your life? And Jasmina said, no. So I think that that's was a good opportunity for even Michael in the future to say, okay, we're going to go on a thank you hunt. We're going to go and find Miss Patasky, and we're going to let her know, the impact that she had on your life. So I thought that was a good opportunity there.
I think Married at First Sight is going to find her. If they do not find Miss Patasky and bring her on that reunion show or whenever they come back to see how their lives has turned out, because they have brought people on before, they need to find Miss Patasky, because that is just a wonderful story. And I bet Jasmina is the most loving, even though she seems hard to us, I bet she is a wonderful, loving teacher because of
Yes.
her motivation behind it. And also, I think that we see why it is taking her so long to open up. Because if you've been abandoned, it sounded like she lived with her parents for a period of time before they both left her.
Yes.
So she doesn't know the feeling of being loved and lost immediately. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like people will stick with you a long time and then they will just drop you. I feel like, especially if you feel that both of your parents have abandoned you when you had a relationship with them. You know, sounds like they raised her together for a period of time. And then her mom left first and then her dad, because she had a couple of stepmoms. So I think that just her feeling of abandonment is probably why she hasn't had an opportunity. She hasn't allowed herself the opportunity to open up in this relationship and become vulnerable.
And I think also the feeling of hurt that she felt, not only from the abandonment of her uh, natural mom and dad, but also from the hurt that she felt from her stepmother, that first stepmother, and the pain that she received there. So I think it she was hurt so much by that until it toughened her skin, where she just didn't allow, she just put up those guards that she wasn't going to allow anybody to hurt her like that again. And that what made her, what makes her the strong woman that everyone sees today.
Yes. So what did you think about Michael and his home visit?
Michael, Michael's home visit, he took Jasmina and she saw his old neighborhood, and he even took her and they toured the playground that he used to play on and everything. And I thought it was good because Michael told her that, he was a loner, and he grew up being a loner. And because of that, that's why it was hard for him to let his guards down, because he had to grow up fast because of, the death of all the family members at a young age. And, I think that it was good for him showing her the house and the park and everything like that, and telling her some of the past things that he used to do.
I love that when he got to the neighborhood, even though he thought he would be sad, that he wasn't, that he felt joy of reminiscing about the great things and the great times that they had. And the letter that he wrote, I thought that was just beauty from ashes. Because although I loved what he said at the end, although this may be sad, but like it's going to be something about, he didn't use the word joy, but that was the way I interpreted it, like it's going to be joy in the end. And I love when he just said, you should just take that time to love a little harder, don't complain. And I think that is something that we all can use in our own lives as we deal with our loved ones, because honestly, we don't know when that time is going to come. We think, okay, because somebody has an illness, but somebody like his brother could walk out and die from a road rage unexpectedly. His brother wasn't young. So I think that sometimes we take life for granted, that life of our loved ones for granted, but that we shouldn't. And it really did remind me of myself, because I took care of my mom when she had Alzheimer's, and I heard about this show called One More Day. And this guy, his mom died, and he was just tore up. And so she came back for one more day, and they just spent a mundane day together. They just ate breakfast, watched television. It was nothing exciting. And then at the end of the day, she died again. And then he was able to move on. And when I saw that, I just thought, every day I have with my mom, I am going to treat it like it's my one more day. And I did. I really, just the mundane stuff, I enjoyed every single minute of it because I had a changed mind. My mindset was different. And when she did pass, I feel like I had no regrets because I had lived every day as if it was that one more day.
And you look at that and we call that hindsight. And usually when you're going from a hindsight standpoint of view, you could say, if I had a chance to do it over again, I would do better. And I think in this episode, and as we look at marriage, as we're experiencing these relationships, we should have foresight, and we should look, to do, to make things better in the now, as opposed to, going back and reflecting on yesterday. And I think that Michael is doing a good job of that, because him being as vulnerable as he is, he's doing that in the now. And because of that, he was able to, even in his letter, he said, okay, Mom, she's going to make it through cancer the first time, but the second time she's not going to make it through. So enjoy her, enjoy her while you have her, because you will grow from it. And also he talked about him being vulnerable. He says, I know you were a loner. I know you will, but you're going to have to allow other people to come in, allow other people into your life. And he says, you'll not only enjoy it, but you will thrive. Mm-hmm. So he's telling his younger self to be more vulnerable, share your pains and your concerns with other people, allow them in, and you will grow from that. And it will make you a better person. And because of that, I see Michael as a completely changed man now during this process of marriage at first sight. And I think that he's changed forever. I don't think it's just a show. I think that now it has changed his life forever.
Absolutely. We then see them talk to Dr. Pepper, and they're really excited in order to talk to her because they are on a good foot.
Yes.
And of course, they end up talking about kids, which was really interesting to me because I felt like Jasmina backpedaled on the children. Because on the car ride home from Vermont, Michael asked her, what is the most thing that the median said that you were surprised about? And she said that I would have kids in 18 months. That means that we had a slip up. Now, when she's talking to Dr. Pepper, she's saying that she wants kids within that same time frame. And I think that's why Michael was a little taken aback, but I love the way he handled it because he just asked a clarifying question.
Yes.
And he said, okay, so what is your timeline? And then he agreed with her. But at this point, I think Michael wants the marriage so bad. He wants to be with Jasmina. So I think he will agree with anything that girl says, anything she wants, because he really wants this to work. And it reminds me of my mom. Most African-American women's mom, they always say, marry somebody who loves you more than you love them. And I think Michael really does love Jasmina and really wants to be with her.
And I say,
go ahead.
Is that without evidence? I think that there's evidence there. What is the evidence? They have fun together. They are having a lot of fun together. You see them playing around, you see them laughing, you see them joking. They're not faking when they're doing that. He makes her feel good and she makes him feel good. So, him wanting this, I became vulnerable for the first time with her. I feel very supportive with her and being vulnerable and stuff like that. And I think she's security for him. He finds safety and confiding in her and stuff like that. And he feels that together we can do a lot of amazing things. So I think, yes, I agree, Michael, man, you got to go for this, man. This is great. Now we got to get Jasmina to see the same thing that Michael sees, because Michael has foresight, and I'm hoping Jasmina won't end up with hindsight if she blows this.
I thought it was interesting that they both felt like the thing they needed to work on is independence. So she talked about growing up and, her mom always say, be able to do for yourself. And he said he was a little sheltered and he just kept things into him, dealt with it with himself. So they both need to be a little interdependent on dependent, I guess would be the correct word, dependent upon one another. in terms of their relationship.
Yeah, and I think like she's so used to being alone, you just said the word, and I think it is interdependence from the standpoint that they depend on each other. And so what Jasmina needs to do is she needs to trust him enough to allow him to support her the way she wants to be supported, as opposed to saying, no, I have to do everything myself. So I think that's what it comes down to, trust. And I think she knows that he loves her. I think she knows that he really cares about her. But the question is that what she's questioning is how she feels about him. And I think that she's having the same problem that Elijah one is having, in the fact that they don't really know what love is, and their picture of love could be false. I know that you can go into some relationships and you're with a person and you feel guilty. I mean, they come, your heart just melts, when you're around them and stuff like that. And we call that love. And the question is that really love? Where you have this person that you almost fall over, you almost fumble on the ground when you're around them and your heart sinks and stuff like that, and you call that love. But then when it comes to them supporting you, taking care of you, spending the time that that you really seek to be with you, you find that that's not the case. But you did have this physical attraction to them, but it's not reciprocated. Where I find what Michael is doing right now, showing concern, showing her worth, acknowledging how he respects her and everything like that. No, I think that's love. I think that's what you can build upon. So I think that when we look at Jasmina, when we look at Elijah one, the question is, what is love?
Well, I guess we will see how they define love. Do you think that this couple will say yes on decision day?
Yes, I think Michael will say yes, and then I think Jasmina will say yes.
I think that Michael is going to say yes on decision day, and Jasmina is going to say no on decision day. So I think this is going to be a no on decision day couple. Let us know what you think. Shout out in the comments below. Do you think that Jasmina and Michael will get their intimacy worked out? Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.